Ladies and gentlemen, we have a quorum, so we're going to get started this morning. I appreciate very much everyone getting up and being here this morning. It really indicates your level of interest, and I appreciate that so much. We only have one bill on the agenda this morning. We will be having another committee meeting. We have two pretty important bills in our committee, one for Regents and one for Community Affairs that will take a little bit of time to consider. So we'll be calling another meeting between now and the end of the session to consider those two bills at least. So we'll be sure and let you know. So at this time, we're going to call up House Bill 751, the general budget for 2017, and we'll cover this. And I'm not going over it item by item. I will be happy to answer questions. Of course, the Vice Chairman and the Secretary here, as well as Senate Budget and Evaluation Office, Melody Debussy, will try to answer any questions that you have. So if you'll indulge me, I'll try to touch on some of the highlights of our budget and try to tell you what some of our goals were. This 2017 general budget totals $23.739 billion. The FY17 budget is built on approximately 4.3% tax revenue growth over the FY16 amended revenue estimate. In addition to this growth, the budget includes $655 million in excise taxes as a result of HB 170. Additionally, included is $157 million appropriated for hotel motel fees and highway impact fees that are allocated to transportation as well. This total of new funds for transportation also includes a transfer from the general budget of approximately $180 million. That is the fourth penny of sales tax collected on fuel sales that was previously going to the general budget. So altogether, counting original and new revenues, there's $1.65 billion appropriated in this budget for transportation. Also, lottery revenues, lottery appropriations will total $1.07 billion for Hope Scholarship, Hope Grants, and pre-K as well. I'm going to highlight 8 areas where the state budget meets or answers the challenges facing the citizens of Georgia and how the Senate budget addresses those challenges and needs. Some of these are agrees with the governor and the House, and some are Senate initiatives tied to the priorities set by the Senate before the session began. As always, education comes first. This budget appropriates $8.91 billion for K-12 education. Included in this new total is $424 million in new funds going to education for growth and austerity reductions to provide for teacher pay raises. Additionally, the House and Senate agreed and funded a 3% pay increase for non-certified school employees, including bus drivers, school nutrition employees, and school nurses. There's also $240 million in bonds for school construction statewide, as well as an increase in the number of school buses that the House and Senate agreed upon. In this age of cybersecurity, with those issues and with the attack threats from around the world, nothing is more important than working to increase security in our state. I appreciate the work of the Public Safety Chairman this year and the recent work by Senator Albers, the subcommittee chair, with the able support of the Majority Leader. The Senate has joined with the governor and the House and made some definite steps to increase the security and well-being of Georgians. The Senate budget for the GBI will propose increasing the number of scientists to 5 and increasing the number of GBI investigators by 24 rather than the 20. Additionally, there are 2 new analysts added to work in the Georgia Information Sharing and Analysis Center who will analyze and investigate criminal threats and assist with cyber security intelligence. In bonds, planning funds have been added for a new investigative division building to house the Georgia Information Sharing and Analysis Center when the FBI moves to a smaller facility, so the two can continue to work closely to protect Georgians. Another top priority of the Senate is to support health care for rural citizens, which includes a number of initiatives to promote better care and health. The Senate supports the continued work of the Rural Hospital Stabilization Committee and restore the funding for charity clinics statewide who provide a safety net for the uninsured. We also continued to help equip EMS vehicles with telemedicine equipment. The Senate added funds for hospitals for an add-on payment for newborn delivery and admission after delivery for rural counties. Also, a Senate initiative appropriates $300,000 to start a patient-centered medical home grant program. $200,000 was also added to the Georgia Board for Physician Workforce for a loan repayment program for physician assistants and advanced practice nurses willing to practice in rural areas. Additionally, $200,000 was included for a South Georgia rural residency program. Supporting job creation is a top priority for the Senate. Included in our budget is $10 million for Invest Georgia, which will, through the Advanced Technology and Development Center at Georgia Tech, take incubator companies with new ideas and products and keep them in Georgia, creating jobs, this effort led by the Lieutenant Governor. We agreed with the House and the Governor on new funds for marketing in the Global Commerce Division and included $200,000 for marketing and tourism in this year of music. To facilitate oversight and assist in directing funding, the Senate has kept the new transportation funds in separate programs of capital maintenance, construction, and administration. After as long as 8 years in some instances, the FY 2017 budget is providing a catch-up year for state employees and many Medicaid providers, and the Senate budget has joined the efforts of the Governor and the House in that endeavor. We added several small areas that might have been left out of the 3% raise appropriated for state employees. Additionally, we agreed with the House to provide first-year funding for a 3% one-time payment to ERS employees or retirees. We followed the board's policy, though, in applying that percentage. There's approximately $40 million in appropriations to provide increases for some codes for primary and OBGYN providers for Medicaid patients to bring them to the 2014 Medicare reimbursement level. The Senate budget continues to show compassion and caring for the disabled, for children, and for seniors in many, many ways. There's $7.3 million to fund 127 additional child service workers in DFACs as part of a 3-year plan to bring down caseloads. Additional funding is appropriated for 10 additional kinship navigators who assist grandparents or relatives with custody or caregiving to maneuver the child welfare system. There'll be one in each area of the state. There's $49.3 million for increases for out-of-home care to reflect the growth in that system for children as well. There's a small increase beyond the House budget for CASA, the Court-Appointed Special Advocates for Children. The Senate also agreed to a $5 per hour increase for Special Assistant Attorneys General who handle child support cases and other legal work for local DFACS offices. We agreed with the House to fund a 3% increase in the nursing home reimbursement rate, and the Senate added funds to give a 3% increase to those few nursing homes with ventilator patients. The Senate agreed with the Governor and the House to fund 11 new adult protective caseworkers. Additionally, the Senate increased the House's add for a total of 167 slots for at-home services to move seniors from nursing homes back to their homes. The Senate doubled the increase the House added for Meals on Wheels to $500,000, which will add an additional 28,735 meals for seniors, all delivered by volunteers, I'm told. The Governor, House, and Senate agreed to add 180 additional eligibility benefit workers to process applications and renewals for food stamps and services. There's a small increase of $1,000 in the allocation to each county for the Family Connection Program. With the ongoing threat of disease and other calamities from around the world, the Public Health Department has never been more important. Senator Underman has been a leader in these efforts, and towards that end included in her subcommittee request pay raises totaling 10% for public health registered nurses and licensed practical nurses. Additionally, the Senate added to the House add for a total of $2 million to implement the Positive Alternative for Pregnancy and Parenting Grant Program as a result of Senate Bill 308. And lastly, we should never forget those who have served the country and whose sacrifice keeps free the very ground we stand on. In the Senate budget are some reminders of that service. Again, this year we are supporting the National Infantry Museum at Fort Benning with a $100,000 investment. Additionally, the Senate bond package provides $3 million to begin the renovation renovation of the Milledgeville War Veterans Home for a subacute rehab therapy unit to serve Georgia's injured veterans returning home. In the bond package in the back of your budget, on your desk, you will note Senate additions, some matches with the House and a few partial project fundings. In conference, we hope to work with the House to reprioritize our projects and to serve as many members as possible. I remind you that the governor has set a $50 million cap for each body for capital outlay. As a result, many projects for which planning funding has been appropriated still await funding. Let me conclude by thanking the subcommittee chairs, members of the Appropriations Committee, and all who have worked to complete the Senate budget. I want to salute the Senate conferees, the President Pro Tem and Majority Leader, their staff, and the Lieutenant Governor's Office who have contributed to these efforts. And nothing would happen without the diligence and hard work of the Senate Budget Evaluation Office. I'm really honored to work with those folks. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a 30,000-foot view, I guess, of the Senate proposal. I'd be happy to entertain questions, and if I can't answer them, we've got some folks over here that can. Senator Huffsettler, is that? No, that's not yours. Okay, that must be just a light on here. Okay. Senator C, you're on. Are you speaking into your microphone? Let's see, wait a minute. Hang on a second, let's see if I've got it. Hang on a second. Let me get the full mics on. Now it should be on. Try it.
We're ready now?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for that report. The $8.9 billion for growth and austerity in the educational budget, did I understand you to say it was also including bus drivers and nutritionists?
Yes, we added, the House and Senate both added funds to fund a 3% raise for school nutrition workers, bus drivers, and school nurses as well.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Other questions? Many of you have expressed interest in the CTAE equipment item that the House put about $4 million in, and we were tasked with trying to meet that goal, as well as to add for equipment purchases statewide for vocational equipment. I don't remember the exact number, but it's somewhere in the $3 million range that we were added to that total. So we're somewhere between $7 and $8 million on that item, which was pretty important to a lot of systems around the state. Somehow I left that out last night, so I want to just remember that. Other questions? Yeah. Senator Mullis. Well, I appreciate that. We don't want to cut off. Maybe everybody wants to go get breakfast. I don't know. Coffee. Yeah. Other questions? I'm happy to answer them now. And Ms. Debussy tells me she'll be on the Senate floor today. So if you have, as you look through the budget, if you have a question or something you don't understand, look either her up or me, and we'll be glad to answer. Yes. Any other questions? Okay, Senator Mullis, make your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move Senate Appropriations Committee substitute to House Bill 751.
Do pass by substitute, right? Have a second by Senator C. Discussion on the motion. All in favor, please raise your hand.
Increased our numbers.
What?
20.
20?
20.
Oh, well, Secretary can't. All right. Okay, thank you. And all opposed? Do see no opposition. Ladies and gentlemen, the bill passes out of the committee. Appreciate your being here this morning and look forward to the floor debate on Thursday. Thank you.
Thursday.
Yeah, I think it'll be Thursday. Minutes, maybe a record.
That may be a record.
Hey. We touched a lot of people, and we ain't gonna let them forget. Thank you for your help.